stockpile properly reflects those increases as well.
So, Bob, on the president's question, when will those masks be ready for? Because they need them out like today.
They're available now. The 3M facility that I was at told me that in January they went to full production on 35 million masks. The legislative change means that all 35 million of those that started to produce at full capacity in January can now be sold to hospitals. That's the distinction. It's a very important
Bust that shields,
change,
fellas.
and it's
Bust
part
that
of the way
shields.
the president is
He's got the
pushing
shields.
private
There's
sector,
plural.
pushing the kind of regulatory reform and the kind of liability reform that's greatly expanded the availability of masks. So they're in the marketplace now. We're going to make it clear to governors, as we made it clear to healthcare providers as far as yesterday. Those resources are now there to vastly increase the supply of medical masks, and we can continue to put a priority on making sure
Good job
that
doing this. I love
calling
you,
on
gamer.
industry at every level, calling on major suppliers that the president met with this year to make sure that there's personal protective equipment there.
Some of that had to do with the liability of the government. They had a big problem with liability. Much of it had to do with the liability to the company.
Dr. Khan, the American Hospital Association just told NBC News that they need $100 million in order to fund this equipment and other infrastructure there. You just signed two legislative packages. They say it didn't directly give money to address this issue. Why not? And will you commit to making sure
We're looking at that issue directly with them, and that's a separate issue, but we're looking at that issue very directly. We're looking at it very directly. What we're going to do our best on it. We're working with Democrats and Republicans, and we're looking at that very specifically.
to go back to normal. Will that not happen until there's a vaccine?
I hope very soon. We'll see. This is uncharted territory, as you know. We think we have ideas. It doesn't help to say what the ideas are. I would hope very soon. We pull together as a nation. People are, for the most part, doing what they're supposed to be doing. Social distancing is very interesting. A whole new term has become somewhat of a hot term, but people are listening and they're really doing a great job. This country is an amazing country. I think we're up to 141 different countries right now. So it's very uncharted territory. Could have been stopped pretty easily if we had
Go, gamers.
A number of months before people started reading about it. Excuse me. Before we started reading about it, we could have its tracks. Unfortunately, they didn't decide to make it public. But
You gamer.
the whole world is suffering because of it.
2 days ago, when you did have a sense that this was all pandemic. So why has the United States not prepared for testing?
We were very prepared. The only thing we weren't prepared for was the media. The media has not treated it fairly. I'll tell you how prepared I was. I called for a ban from people coming in from China long before anybody started this. In fact, it was your network. I believe they called me a racist because I did that. It was many of the people in the room, they called me racist and other words because I did that, because I went so early. So when you say we weren't prepared, had I let these tens of thousands of people come in from China a day, we would have had something right now that would have been, you wouldn't have even recognized it compared to where we are. How many people have passed away? How many people have died as of this moment? You could multiply that by a factor of many, many, many. So when you say that I wasn't prepared, I was the first one to do the ban. Now other countries are following along. But the media doesn't acknowledge that. They know it's true. They know it's true, but they don't want to write about it. Yeah, right.
I wanted to just follow up on John and Caitlin's question. So it's not just masks. Doctors are saying now that they are desperate for other personal protective gloves, other equipment. Governors are saying they don't have access to respirators and they're terrified.
Bro, so you are gaming on that freaking song, bro. Holy crap.
States are supposed to get it, but we're helping the states. For years they bought them, and now all of a sudden they're coming to the federal government. We're working with the states, we're working with the governors, we're working with everybody. The relationships are great. One of the things that happened this morning, I spoke with Mickey Ellison, one of the cruise lines, and he's going to make ships available. So in addition to the big medical ships that get coming, if we should need ships, lots of reasons, they'll be docked at New York and Los Angeles and San Francisco, different places. So I want to thank Mickey Ellison. That's Carnival Cruise Lines.
Gamer, you have to be gamer. Come on, gamers, let's go. Let's go, gamers out. Gamers roll out, bruh.
I've done it, yeah. If we find that we need something, then we will do it. And you don't know what we've done. You don't know whether or not we've ordered. You don't know if we've invoked it. You don't know what's been ordered, what's not been ordered. I can only tell you that, as an example, masks. Nobody ever heard of the number of masks that's been ordered. They're being made now, and many are available now. People, I think, in the media probably don't know that.
Could you explain the gap for the American people and what you're saying here today about there being tens of thousands of tests available, about how there being a huge amount of masks available, and what we're seeing on the ground?
Bro, we kill the Sombra, we win the game, bro.
People are
Pegando Sombra.
getting tested even when
Okay, we win in the game now.
Doctors are telling us they don't have access to vital.
Girls, push up, push up, push up, push up on him. Okay, never mind, push back, push back, push back, push back. Oh.
Very good things on the ground. They had an absolute system, and they had a system simultaneously that was not meant for this. It wasn't meant for this. Nobody knew there'd be a pandemic, an epidemic of this proportion. Nobody's ever seen anything like this before. I can tell you that what we're doing is
I should have done that, I'm
with
sorry.
local governments, with states, governors, even mayors, on getting them to be able to get what they need. And the system is starting to work out very well. But we had to break a system, like breaking an egg, because the system we had was obsolete and didn't work. And that was a system we inherited. And now we have something that's really been very good, and certainly going to be great for the future, too. Yeah, but
There seems to be a backlash from supporters about coordinated bill. In particular, Senator Mike Braun said that this could hardly last it's winners and losers, and indicated that he and some of his colleagues may not be comfortable with that. What do you say?
well, we don't want to pick winners and losers. We want everybody to benefit. And we want, I think, more than anything else, the workers to benefit. And sometimes for the workers to benefit, you have to go through the company, because they have thousands of workers. And if the company goes out of business, no fault of their own, those workers aren't
Not even in.
able to receive a check. So our ultimate goal are the people. Our ultimate goal are the great people of this country. And we will have things worked out, I think, that are going to be very well. It's a very complex formula, you understand that, very complex. But it's working out. I think it's going to be very well. I think we're going to have pretty uniform support for it, please.
We're hearing the State Department is going to put out an advisory telling Americans not to travel overseas at all. Are you putting in overseas travel?
We're speaking with the State Department. I can't say right now because I haven't had the meeting yet.
Oh, Chris is a man. Oh, you gamer joker, I love you. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask about Remdesivir, if I pronounced that correctly. Say, is it currently approved for use on the virus?
So Remdesivir, and it's a drug made by Gilead that's been in the press. It is currently in clinical trials here and around the world. We've also made it available by that approach that I told you called compassionate use, where a doctor could ask the FDA for that. And the really positive thing about that gives it rapidly to a doctor and a patient, but it allows us to collect the data, because what we really need to do is understand the data and science in order to make the appropriate decision about safety and effectiveness.
So how do you just make sure that it is safe? And I mean, is there any concern at all that it will be safe, considering that it's not going through the normal process? And could it cause negative effects? Dr. Fauci earlier talked about we do not want to put out anything that could cause negative effects. Is there any concern about those kind of things with this drug?
Yeah, thank you for that question, because I just want to be clear about this. Remdesivir is going through the normal process. We are using our internal processes at FDA to set up with the company the protocols to actually collect the data. And you're right, we need to actually know about the safety and the effectiveness, and that's done through the clinical trial process. So it's those data that are going to inform the decisions that are ultimately made about safety and efficacy. This is an unprecedented situation. This is a really significant time. And one thing that with the President's leadership, FDA has done is said, okay, How do we approach these extraordinary times with extraordinary measures, knowing that we have a sacred trust with the American people about safety and efficacy, but still at the same time enable these treatments to get into patients? And that's what we're doing.
Mr. President, one for you and one for the doctors. How likely is it that the 15-day guidance that you have put through will be extended?
I can only tell you on the 14th day, and we'll have to see. We'll have indications later on.
Dr. Birx indicated that there are 3 states and 10 counties, if I got that right, where 50% of the cases are focused. Should those areas be doing more less than just shelter in place?
I think they actually are doing a lot. I mean, I know New York is working very diligently, been very strong. I assume San Francisco is one of the areas, and Los Angeles, and state of Washington, obviously, that's one that has to be up there. They're all working very hard to quarantine, or words just about the equivalent of quarantine.
What is your plan, sir, for government workers? Are you moving for the government as well to start doing more teleworking?
We are, and we're using the medical term of telemedicine, and it's been incredibly busy, and really, where people don't have to, I mean, some people can't do it anyway. They can't get up, they can't see a doctor. But we're using this, and it's been telehealth, different names, and I will tell you that it's been really successful. It's helped a lot of people out where they don't have to, and they can't, and even from a safety reason, if they are positive, if they are feeling poorly, they can't do it, or we don't want them transmitting anything to anybody else.
Mr. President, if I could, on China, they reported for the first time since the outbreak no new cases over a 24-hour period. Do you have any reason to disbelieve them? And second to that, the National Security Council yesterday put out a tweet very critical of the Chinese government, saying the Chinese Communist Party suppressed initial reports of the Chinese virus and punished doctors and journalists, causing Chinese and international experts to miss critical opportunities to prevent a global pandemic. Could you explain?
Well, it would have been much better if we had known about this a number of months earlier. It could have been contained to that one area in China where it started. And certainly the world is paying a big price for what they did, and the world is paying a very big price for not letting them come out. Everybody knows that. We all know that. As far as believing what they're putting out now, I hope it's true. Who knows? But I hope it's true. I really do.
Quickly, a question for you, and also to the doctor, if possible. You've been talking about China quite a bit, and you've been talking about the Chinese virus. If you had heard about this on day one and had more information, possibly you could have stopped it. Are you thinking about any types of repercussions for China, and are you also rethinking sort of the supply lines for our manufacturing?
I don't want to comment on that. Yeah.
I have a question for you and also a question for Dr. Birx. American workers across the country
are we ever going to pick up?
Unprecedented rate, and your former economist said we could see some of the worst job numbers ever. Is the government prepared to see this spike in unemployment?
Worst case scenario, we would have terrible job numbers. If we can get this thing wrapped up and finished earlier, things will go very nicely. And one of the things are working, as you know, one of the elements that is being worked on very much so in the Hill is to keep the jobs going, so that when we do get rid of the virus, we're going to be able to just really, I think, go like a rocket. I think the economy is going to be But he said that he was using that as the ultimate outcome. I don't think anybody believes that's going to happen.
Members of Congress are now being tested positive for coronavirus, and we do have almost 2 dozen who are self-quarantining. Do you have any guidance for Congress? Should they?
I know all of them, and I don't know if they're sitting like you people are sitting. You're actually sitting too close. We should probably get rid of about another 75-80% of you. I'll have just 2 or 3 that I like in this room. I think that's a great way of doing it. We just figured a new way of doing it. I think you're actually much too close. You should leave immediately.
Go in, Aristotle.
But look, I know all of them. They tested positive. They're all going to get done. And one of those biggest thing. It's Congress. I know some where they tested positive. They're in quarantine, and I know Lindsay and many others. They didn't test until they got the result. They put themselves in quarantine. A number of people in Congress right now in quarantine. They don't know the result. When they get the result, they'll either stay there and get better, because people get better. I mean, most people are getting better. Most, by far, the people you get better. Doesn't mean it's not a tough one. It is a tough one. But no, when many people in Congress have felt not perfect, or they met somebody that wasn't perfect, it turned out to be positive, and they've put themselves in quarantine. And I think Congress has behaved unbelievably well in that regard.
On the stimulus, sir, given what is happening to the economy, do you think $8 trillion stimulus is enough?
We'll know about that later on. We'll see what happens. It depends how long. So much depends on what's going on in this room in terms of the medical. If we can stop it in its tracks, the virus, it's plenty. If we can't, we'll have to go back and talk.
Do you support the idea of the government taking an equity stake in this?
I'm not gonna say, but people are coming in for money. In some cases, no practically, in some cases where they did certain things over the course of the years, including buying back stock. They bought back stock and they paid a high price for it, as it turned out. But maybe I view that as a little bit differently than somebody that didn't, than somebody that built plants all over the United States, of which there were plenty of them too.
Airlines or Boeing, or what do you think?
We will be helping the airline industry. We will
Get out.
be helping the cruise ship industry. We probably will be helping the hotel industry. We'll probably be where jobs are created. You don't want to lose industries like this. These are incredible industries. You can't lose them. So we'll be focused on many industries. And I have to say, I can't say it strongly enough, we will be helping small businesses. That's where it's complicated, because there's a lot of small, that's the engine of the country. We will be helping small businesses.
Two members of Congress have tested positive for coronavirus. These are big votes which you need to pass this $1 trillion stimulus package to the economy. Do you expect this to slow down the delivery of checks for American families?
Step right. There's a couple of things that I could do. Hopefully we won't need it, but we can do that. There's a lot of executive power. If we don't have to use it, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, one for you, and especially as well, one for Dr. Right now, the economy is essentially run out to a halt. Stores have closed, travel has slowed down.
Go ahead. What's the rest of your question? We know that. Everybody in the room knows that.
The question is, how long should those who are either not working right now or business owners who have to make critical decisions, how long should they expect the state of affairs as it stands at this moment to play out? And for the doctors behind you,
we'll be able to tell you that I think in the near future. We'll see where we're going. You're going to see numbers. You've seen the graphs. You're going to see numbers, and we'll be able to let you know. I will say that the American public has been incredible for the most part. Not in all cases, but for the most part. So you'll be able to see what's happening over the next, as we say, we had a 15-day period. You'll be able to tell a lot in a week or so. Not everything, but we'll be able to see over a period.
Parents that are home right now, this is a question for Dr. Burns or Dr. Adams, who are caring for their children and are curious as to when might my kids be able to go back to school.
Well, I think all of those decisions are made at the state and local government level, and each state and local government is handled it differently. That's why we put out from the president federal presidential guidance to every single person about what we think is important for the next 2 weeks. And as we look at that data, we'll be able to see if it's having an impact. I think you've all seen the modeling studies. Those were driven by the modeling studies showing that if you add these things together, they have a bigger impact than separately. And so those are part of the decision making. We had a whole group of modelers in yesterday. They're compositing all the data together to look at this carefully, because everyone has those same questions of what the impact will be and what pieces could essentially be removed and you still have the same level of impact in decreasing the spread of the virus. The absolute key to this, though, is looking at the president guidelines.
Thank you, Baptiste. Oh, you're welcome.
I will shield you.
Are so necessary.
That should be better. Hey.
But if even 10 or 15% of the population decides that what they're doing today is more important,
Let me ban you.
they can spread the virus in a very small way because we know the level of
I could have used a little more time to get ready.
Chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine works. Or any of the other things that they're looking at that are not quite as far out. But if they work, your numbers are going to come down very rapidly. So we'll see what happens. But there's a real chance that they might work. Go ahead, please. In the back.
So much. What is your message for some leaders in Latin America, like the president who just said something more taking photos with supporters in the American demonstration? And just yesterday, the president from Brazil because he is the president and should be the people.
Well, he's a friend of mine, and number two, we had dinner the other night. Everybody said he was positive, and he wasn't positive. He tested negative. So I was quite happy when I heard that. But I have no message for him other than he's doing a good job in Brazil. He's doing a good job in Brazil, and he's very popular.
How about encouraging mass demonstration at these moments?
I can't tell you about that. I don't know about that. I have not heard that. He's doing a very good job. Brazil was very troubled before he got there. And the people love him. He's popular.
There are Americans who were traveling abroad who were essentially stuck, unable to come home. We spoke to a group of 10 women.
Might need a few
Americans.
Amplification matrix ready.
We spoke to 10 American women who are in Morocco, for instance. All the flights have been canceled. Their hotel is shutting down. They literally have no place to stay and no way to get home. They are asking you, they're asking the administration, the U.S. government for help. What can be done?
We know about it. We have groups. We have a group of young people and we're looking at taking care of that with the military.
Military evacuation.
Yeah, we're looking to take not evacuation. We're trying to get them out, and they got caught. They were late with their flights. We gave them a period of time. They didn't make it, but we're looking to get them out with military, probably through the military. We have a group of young people, I think young men or young people, could be women also with them from Alabama, the great state of Alabama, and they're in Peru, and we're working on that right now, trying to get them out. It's a large group. It's about 300. We're going to work it out, Jeff.
Mr. President, two sort of foreign policy related questions. In your talk with the G7 leaders earlier this week, did you discuss together ending or postponing the Olympics?
Yeah, we did discuss it. As you know, Prime Minister Abiy was on the call, and that's a big decision for him, and we don't know what his decision is, but we'd live with his decision. It's a tough situation. They've done an incredible job. Japan has done an incredible job on building the venues, getting them built. You've seen so many Olympic venues that have been a disaster over the years where they cost 5 times more than they were supposed to. They weren't ready on time. Japan has been just the opposite. They built it beautifully. They built it for what it was supposed to be built for. But then he got hit with the same thing that the rest of the world got hit with unexpectedly. He has told us that he has not made a decision as to what to do.
And also on foreign policy, have you spoken to the leaders of Saudi Arabia or Russia and encouraged them to stop this glut of oil that is affecting the market?
Well, the one thing I will tell you is that from the standpoint, you always get a little bit torn because, until we became the leading producer, I was always for the person driving the car and filling up the tank of gas, and you'd have gasoline, and the prices were, if they were too high, I would always raise hell with OPEC. And I was always somebody that likes it. I never thought I'd see $22 and $24 and $28 a barrel, but that's what we have. And in one way, our consumer is very much helped. It's like a massive tax increase. That's bigger than any tax decrease that you could give. We can give all these big tax cuts, but they're paying so little for gasoline. But on the other hand, it hurts a great industry and a very powerful industry. So I spoke with numerous people that have a lot to do with it, and we have a lot of power over the situation, and we're trying to find some kind of a medium ground. It's very devastating to Russia, because when you look, I mean, their whole economy is based on that, and we have the lowest oil prices in decades, so it's very devastating to Russia. I would say it's very bad for Saudi Arabia, but they're in a fight. They're in a fight on price. They're in a fight on output. And at the appropriate time, I'll get involved. Yeah.
And forgive me if I missed it. What will the Carnival cruise ships be used for?
Well, Mickey called up and he said, if you need them, and we haven't said yes, I'll call Governor Cuomo. I'll call Gavin Newsom, governor from California. I'll call a few of the other governors. Are going to bring it up today because we're meeting through telephone, telephonically, as they say, in a little while at FEMA. I'm going over to FEMA from here.
You're thinking increased hospital beds?
Well, you can increase places to stay. Let's say places to stay, if it works. I mean, I don't know, maybe people won't want them. But he made the offer. It was a very generous offer. And he said that he has some ships that would be ideally suited for what we're doing. And certainly they have a lot of rooms. They're big and they have a lot of rooms. So we appreciate it from Carnival.
At what point in the future will any American who wants a test be able to get a test? Because you're talking about not needing a test right now if you're not showing any symptoms, but a lot of
this... Not needing the test?
Or only getting tested if you're showing symptoms, but a lot of this...
Well, no, you should only get... You should. I didn't have any symptoms and I got a test, but I got a test because you people were driving everybody crazy. So that's the only reason. I had no symptoms, but I had a test. And my doctor told me, don't get it, you don't need it. Everybody said you don't need it, but I had to do it because the press was going crazy. And then after I got it, they said, you shouldn't have gotten it, you had no symptoms. The whole thing. So in other words, if you get it, it was no good. But I'm a unique case, unfortunately. But no, people that don't show symptoms and people that have doctors that say they shouldn't get it, I would rely on that. Yeah, I would rely on that.
Mr. President, thank you. Mr. President, thank you. I have two questions. Do you consider the term Chinese...
OAN.
Yes, sir. Thank
very
you.
good.
I
Thank
have
you
two
very
questions.
much. You treat me very nicely.
Do you consider the term Chinese food racist because it's food that originates in China or it has Chinese...
No, I don't think it's
and
racist. I don't think it's racist at all.
On that note, major left-wing news media, even in this room, have teamed up with Chinese Communist Party narratives, and they're claiming you are racist for making these claims about Chinese virus. Is it alarming that major media players just to oppose you are consistently siding with foreign state propaganda, Islamic radicals, and Latin gangs and cartels, and they work right here at the White House with direct access to you and your team?
It amazes me when I read the things that I read. It amazes me when I read the Wall Street Journal, which is always so negative. It amazes me when I read the New York Times. Is not even, I barely read it. We don't distribute it in the White House anymore, and the same thing with the Washington Post. Because, you see, I know the truth. And people out there in the world, they really don't know the truth. They don't know what it is. They use different slogans and different concepts for me almost every week, trying to catch something. Last week it was, oh, chaos. You see me, there's no chaos. I have no chaos. I'm the one telling everybody to be calm. There's no chaos at the White House. We have unbelievable professionals. It's really, I think I came up with the term. I hope I came up with the term, but it is fake news. It's more than fake news. It's corrupt news. They write stories without calling anybody. They write a story today. I had a couple of stories where they never call me, ever, that I know of. At least nobody tells me. They'll write a story about me without even asking my opinion on something. It's totally fake. I've never seen, there is a story in the Wall Street Journal today about, about how we've done a phenomenal job on this. The governors are even Gavin Newsom, who, I'm usually fighting with over the fires, and I think you should do a different kind of a job in the forests and lots of things. We argue a lot, but Gavin Newsom's been very, very generous. Andrew Cuomo's been really very generous. They're saying we're doing a great job, and everybody's saying, but then you'll read this phony story in the Wall Street Journal, or the Washington Post is going wild lately. I don't know what happened to them. I guess something happened, like we don't call them back or whatever. But the Washington Post, these are very dishonest media sources. They're very dishonest. And you know what? Someday, hopefully in 5 years, I won't be here, and that'll be fine. I will have done, I think, a great job, because I don't think anyone's done as much in 3.5 years as I've done. I don't think, and the administration. This administration's done a great job. But the press is very dishonest.
More than dishonest, they're siding with state propaganda.
Well, I think they do. I mean, they are siding with China. They are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They're siding with many others. China's the least of it. So why they're doing this, you'll have to ask them. But if we had an honest media in this country, our country would be an even greater place. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We are very excited about. Specifically what we talked about with the chloroquine. I think it could be something really incredible. It could totally depress the times that we had mentioned. Wait, excuse me. It could totally depress any time that we're talking about if it works. There are a lot of reasons that I have to believe, again, Dr. Hahn is the expert, but a lot of reasons that I would have to think that it could have a very positive effect, or a positive effect. Maybe not very, but maybe positive. I think it's, to me, very, very exciting. And the beauty is, I think I can say this, Steve, the beauty is that these drugs have been out there. So the really danger part of the drugs, especially chloroquine, it's been out there for years. So we know it's something that can be taken safely. So it's very important. Go ahead.
Dr. Hahn, can you just give a little bit more information about that, the process by which folks are going to be able to actually use these medicines? Because I believe there were at least 2 cited, maybe more. How quickly do you think people will be able to use them? And then if you can update us on the